In terms of tackling security, there is lack of political will.
Beyond the headlines,
Who are the sponsors of
In terms of tackling security, there is lack of political will.
beyond the headlines,
Who are the sponsors of insecurity in this country?
from breaking news to everyday conversations, this is where Nigeria's conversations begin. We track the issues shaping Nigeria and the world today. The world is talking, and we're listening. This is Trends on LJE News.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Trends on LJE News, where we bring you the latest and developing stories in Nigeria and of course across the globe. My name is Omotola Adeleke, and of course I have Esther here. Esther, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hope you're great.
Sure.
Your shirt is almost matching with my suit.
Come on.
All right, I also have here Judith. Judith, hope you're good.
Yes, I am.
Judith will just smile as if she's going to be calm when we start the program.
I'm always calm. What
And
do
when
you
she
mean?
comes and she's fighting and quarreling with everyone. It's not like that.
No, it's not.
All right. Let's quickly run through our headlines for this edition of Trends. Tinubu backs acting IGP Disu to crush crime. Police. 100 million naira transfer to IGP's son was bank error. Dangote signed 65 million litres petrol deal. Federal government rejects U.S. claim of religious persecution. ADC condemns Edo attack, heads to ECOWAS court. INEC pressured to deregister ADC and LP, says Igbokwe. Tinubu naira to hit 1,000 naira per dollar very soon. And to the lead story, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has charged newly sworn-in Acting Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, to decisively tackle crime and restore peace nationwide. Speaking at the swearing-in and decoration ceremony at the State House, Abuja, on Wednesday, the president expressed confidence in Disu's leadership of the Nigerian police force. Tinubu recalled Disu's dedication during his tenure as Lagos governor, describing the appointment as timely and crucial amid current national security challenges. Also, the Nigerian police force has clarified that the 100 million naira paid into the personal account of Victor Egbetokun, son of Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun, was a banking error and was immediately reversed. The explanation followed allegations by Omoyele Sowore that the funds came from the Anambra State Government Security Vote account. First spokesperson Benjamin Odoye said Victor reported the unexpected credit and instructed his bank to return the money promptly. He reportedly presented his bank statement as proof and later closed the account. Odoye added that Victor petitioned the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate the allegation, stressing that the transaction was a mistaken payment with no wrongdoing involved. Now, let me start with Esther this morning. You know, Esther, look at this story very well. Now, the police public relations officer, Odoye, of course, came out to bring about this particular report, after which Omoyele Sowore reviewed, what he does. Of course, it brings out some of these things that lots of people don't know. Why is it that it was when Omoyele Sowore, exposed this particular transaction that the police are now coming out to defend it?
It's what we would call manipulation, right? Because if it was that the truth didn't come to light, we would not even hear about the story in the first place. They will bury it. And I'm not very certain in terms of facts, but in terms of my belief that it was not a mistaken transaction. This was probably a way to just corner aside some money and use it for their personal interest. But since it was reviewed as public, they're now terming it as what now? Transfer, and calling the EFCC to even investigate him that it was a mistake. How can they mistakenly send 100 million naira into your account? And coincidentally, it happens to be that you're the son of
the IGP or the former IGP.
Former IGP of police. So how is that even a mistake, if you ask me? So
okay. So would you want, because now I'm wondering, The EFCC usually gets to post or publish some of these kind of things on their website, reports like this on their website. And of course, the EFCC did not publish all this. If Omoyele Sowore had not come out, to review this, perhaps we wouldn't have known. But do you think this actually is a part of what caused the resignation or the sacking of the former IGP?
I won't say for sure if it was part of what caused it, but what I know is that the money was not a mistake. And even for the fact that Mr. Sowore already came out to declare this open, we won't even know about it because the EFCC didn't even post about it. They didn't even make noise about it. They didn't even make a fuss about it. So it would have just been swept under the carpet like they'll always do.
All right. Thank you very much, Esther. Quickly, Judith, what's your say on this particular issue? I would want to say it's rare for 100 million naira transfer. It's rare for it to be a mistake. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
No, sorry. Yes, I honestly agree with you. And I don't think it's a mistake. Personally, I believe they were trying to pay the man off, the former IGP.
Through his son?
Then, through his son, because they're trying to have no traces either.
That's a very strong allegation.
I believe it is my opinion. That is just what, because look at this case now. How is it so convenient that just as he's leaving office, they are mistakenly transferring 100 million naira to his son? I mean, why is it this time? How convenient is it that this is happening right now? I think, honestly, they are just trying to pay him off because there was going to be no records of the money whatsoever. If not that Sowore came out and reviewed it, the money would have just gone, the transaction would have just gone very, very noiselessly with no traces, and it would become a case of missing money, or nobody would even have any accounts or come to account for the money. It would just go like that. So I think, honestly, I believe, this is just my belief, that they were honestly trying to pay the man off.
No, now let's talk about accountability. Do you think there should be a bank statement displayed for the public to know that, yes, truly that money was returned or a money like that existed?
I mean, a bank statement is personal. So if he's saying that, he submitted his bank statement.
Because even if it's personal, there's a crime involved, of course. It might not be a bad thing.
He has not committed any crime. They've not charged him of any crime. He's saying it's a mistake. I mean, their story is just so perfect. I mean, it's a mistake. Take your money back and all of that. So I don't think he has committed any crime. And he's saying he has returned the money and he has presented his bank statement to prove that he actually returned the money.
So we should just believe that the 100 million naira has been returned to the Anambra state government.
There is really no other way to find out.
So you think the court cannot compel, the son of the former IGP Egbetokun to show us proof that money was returned? Because if he feels there's no skeleton in his cupboard, then why is that too complicated to do?
I mean, the court they can compel him, but on what grounds, on what basis? He has not committed any crime, and I feel like if not because his father was the former IGP, nobody would know him. And this is the first time I'm hearing about him. Since this case of the mistaken, transfer of 100 million naira, he's just a normal citizen. And in court, he can say, "Oh, I'm a normal citizen. This can happen to anybody," because it can truly happen to anybody. Although 100 million naira is too much to be a mistake. Come on now, it's not 1,000 naira. It's 100 million. It's too much to be a mistake, honestly.
All right, now let's talk about the new Inspector General of Police, the acting Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu. What are those expectations? What are those things that you expect from the new IGP right now, especially with what's happening in the country in terms of insecurity?
As a Nigerian, my first expectation is a total reform of the police force as it is. In the different states, local governments, if possible, all these checkpoints on the road, a complete overhaul, reform, and to ensure I want to understand. Are you saying all the checkpoints on the road should be removed? I'm not saying they should be removed. I said they should, just have a reform, because those people on the road, they are not there to secure anybody. They are just there to extort people. Before you get...
which people on the road?
The policemen on the road. Because most times, the last time I traveled by road, I went from Nsukka to Enugu City. There were at least 10 different checkpoints on the road. And at every checkpoint, the bus driver had to drop 200 naira. These people, they are not... what are you there for? Just to take money? You're not securing anything. You're just there to extort drivers and then private car owners, and then you move on. So I think there should be a reform. They should, I don't know, reorient them, teach them what their actual job is.
Thank you very much, Judith. Let's move on to the next story quickly. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has signed an offtake agreement with 12 major petroleum marketers to distribute between 60 and 65 million liters of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, daily nationwide. A move aimed at stabilizing supply and strengthening Nigerians' fuel self-sufficiency. President of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, announced the deal in Lagos, stating that the framework guarantees consistent domestic supply. He added that any surplus, estimated at 15 to 20 million liters, will be exported. Nigeria's daily petrol consumption is projected at 50 to 60 million liters, positioning the refinery to meet local demand fully. Esther, you know, there was a time the NNPC said we should praise, Dangote, that this is the time to appreciate Dangote. Now, let's be honest here. Fuel queues have reduced. The issue of fuel scarcity has also reduced. Do you think we should actually praise Dangote?
I said that before. I mean, we've had this this conversation, and I said it before that as a private business owner, he's not indebted to making Nigeria work the way he's doing. He's
making his money.
He's making his money, but at the same time, he's assisting the government and Nigerians. He's making life way easier for us. So of course, let's give him his accolade. Even though he's making his money as a private individual, he's still rendering assistance to us that the government couldn't even give us.
All right, there was a time I actually asked this question because it might be a thing to worry about. Judith, talking about monopolizing the oil and gas sector. Perhaps we might see Dangote dominating the oil and gas sector someday. Now, talking about some of his other businesses, we have cement, we have some other things that he produces. I think he's into mining and some of these other things. Aren't you worried? Because I want us to reiterate this, especially for the benefit of the masses out there. Aren't you worried that Dangote will, to a certain level, start regulating the price? He will be the one to decide. I think he's even the one deciding the price of petrol already. What are your thoughts?
Actually, at this point, like Esther said, he's a private business owner.
So it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. What he does is set his price. I mean, he calculates his the cost of his production, and then he fixes his price. It doesn't decide what other fuel vendors or what other people should sell. They just decide to, okay, his prices are lower, we should lower ours, because of course when your prices are lower, people would always patronize you more. So I think that he's just doing his business.
So don't
honestly.
you think? Now the thing is, when a business owner is being monopolized, or when a business is being monopolized, there's tendency that when this person decides to, decide the price of this product, decide the price of goods or whatever, or services or whatever, he has the tendency, or she has the tendency, to just skyrocket it at any time, and people will still just, resolve to, patronize. So aren't you worried that Dangote will just someday wake up and say, hey, petrol should sell at 2,000 naira per liter?
I mean, as much
because
as,
of course, he's a businessman. He has the right to do that.
He's a businessman, and he has the right to do that. But there are also bodies. I think the NMDPRA is a body that also helps regulate price of petrol and fuel in the country. So I don't think he can fix his prices at a price that is too high. I don't think he has the power to do that, especially as there are still bodies that they cannot tell him the particular price, but then they would help regulate the prices to an extent.
I'm worried about NNPC leaders, Esther. The NNPC had come out to give some excuses why our government-owned refineries cannot work. But, come on, these things are not spirits. These things are not invisible things. Why do you think, in your honest opinion, NNPC cannot make our own government refineries work? At least that might probably, aid. I'm asking this. There might come a time, God forbid, that Dangote refinery will probably shut down. What do we fall back to?
Is it that they can't make it work, or they're not just putting enough effort into making it work? Because if we can have Dangote Refinery as a private individual owned business, what about the government? Of course, Dangote is under the government. So if he can make his business work, and we want to put so much effort and possibility into making it work, we can actually make this thing work. But for some reason, they are just relaxed about it because of God knows what.
So what would you think those reasons are as a Nigerian? What do you think those reasons are to you? Of course, you see what's happening, because it's surprising for a body like the NNPCL, who also works with international companies, works with other oil, companies outside the country, So why would you think the NNPC will go so, I think I would call it go so low to say, no, our refineries cannot work. Let's praise Dangote.
It's going to be very tricky, because it's not like...
Because money that have been spent on these refineries,
Yeah,
a lot of money have been spent on maintenance of these refineries. What is the problem? Why can't these refineries work? If a private owner can just come up with his own refinery and it's working. So what happens to the government-owned refinery, where the government can, of course, they have the resources, they have the money, they have the equipment, all those things are there. Then why can't it work? What is the problem?
Maybe it's just
Is it a systemic issue? Is it a reform issue? Is it a structural issue? Is it as a result of leadership failure?
It's just that maybe they don't prioritize that as what Nigerians need for now. They just put their focus on lesser issues, because I think if they want to make this thing work, they would actually put in enough effort into making it work. And for some selfish reasons, they would rather have us, suffer.
All right. Let's move on to the next story. Federal government has dismissed claims of religious persecution contained in a report submitted by U.S. lawmakers to President Donald Trump, insisting Nigeria has no such policy. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris said the country faces complex security challenges, including terrorism and banditry, but not state-backed religious bias. The report, linked to Congressman Riley Moore and House Appropriations Chairman Tom Cole, followed investigations into alleged persecution of Christians. Idris stressed that Nigeria's constitution guarantees freedom of religion and equal protection under the law. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to safeguarding all citizens and maintaining strong diplomatic ties with the United States through constructive engagement. Meanwhile, 6 worshippers abducted from Celestial Church in Ondo, 1 has been rescued. Judith, this sounds a little bit contradictory because, come on, people were worshiping in their church and 6 of them were abducted. 1, of course, has been rescued. Now, this is not the first. In recent times, we've had couple churchgoers, we've had couple people in the churches kidnapped, a lot of Christians. But yet, we still have the federal government coming out to say it's a general thing. What are your thoughts?
I think this government, the people in government at this time, I don't want to be too harsh, but I want to say they are not ashamed of themselves.
You're free if you're not defaming anybody.
I feel like I want to say they are not ashamed of themselves, because how these things are in the news every time. People are abducted from their churches. People are killed in their homes. People are, like, in Kaduna State, people were taken from 2 different churches. Then we just heard now 6 people were kidnapped from their church. These things are always in the news. The people that are affected are always coming out to say, oh, this is happening to us. This is happening to us. We don't hear these things happen in mosques.
Why do you think there should be a Christian genocide? Like, what's the hidden agenda? Why do you think people will just wake up one morning and start killing Christians?
Honestly, I cannot answer that. I cannot be the one to answer that, because
that means you probably don't know if there's a Christian genocide.
There is. We can see that there is. People are being killed and harassed and kidnapped from their churches. We can see there is a genocide. We cannot tell what the reason of what the reasoning of the perpetrators are, because these people say that's another angle too. Because how is it that these things are happening until now? They are just in the news. They will be like, oh, people were kidnapped from here. Later we hear they've been released and no arrests have been made. Nothing has been known basically to the people that commit these crimes. I mean, it's been over 2 weeks since the people from the Kaduna church were kidnapped and then eventually released. Until now, nothing was said again about the case. As they released them, nothing again has happened. I think the people in government are really not ashamed of themselves, because this is just a barefaced lie. Everybody can see it. Why are you lying?
All right. Why are you lying, Judith tells to federal government? But Esther, do you think there's an agenda to Islamize Nigeria? Because we've had a couple people, make statements like this, that it's like there's a plan to Islamize Nigeria, there's a plan to make Nigeria an Islamic country, and stuff like that. Do you think it's such news? Do you think that's the problem? Do you think that's the issue, or these are just criminal elements who are just trying to make money?
It's not about trying to make money for them. It's not about the money, because most of the time they even kidnap these people, and even after the money, they still don't get released. I feel like the government is focused on even negotiating rather than capturing these people, because they know they are working for them. So I don't blame people that come. Yes.
So are you saying the government will pay these perpetrators, will pay them money, this insurgent, will pay them money and still collect the money back?
Negotiate with them. What are you saying? You will see where they'll look at Tunji Bello, Abitorji Bello. He seeks to negotiate with the government. He issues out a letter.
What I want to understand is this. If you're saying the government works with them, if I'm your employer, you're supposed to make money for me. I'm not supposed to give you money to make money for me.
No,
So,
I'm not saying they work together. I'm saying they actually empower them to keep doing what they're doing. They're the reason behind their ammunition. They're the reason behind their hideout.
that's basically working together.
It's a collaborative effort, and they're empowering them, right? Because the government doesn't do anything to actually want to catch. I don't think there's ever been a news of bandits that government caught and they were put in prison and all of that. I don't think I've ever heard something like that. It's always negotiations and, they are free now, let's look at the way forward. They don't always talk about the aftermath. They only focus on paying off the ransom, or they'll just say, okay, let's give them the ransom. Whenever there's a kidnap case, the focus is, how do we raise the money, and not even how do we get this bandit. So yes, there's probably some sort of way to actually Islamize the country.
All right, we need to go on a short break right now. And of course, when we return, we'll still get to talk about and have conversations on some other trends on LJE News. We will be right back.
As a people and members of LJE Green Community, we share a deeper commitment to protect not only our environment, but also the rights and dignity of all individuals within our reach. Every day, we are faced with responsibility to uphold human dignity. If you see something happening around you, do not turn blind eye. We must act, because that's where our role as ambassadors come in. Being an ambassador doesn't require any superpower. It requires awareness, compassion, and the willingness to speak up. If you see something, say something. It's our duty to stand up for justice and amplify the voices of those who can't speak for themselves. One voice can spark a movement, and together we can create a nation that values human life. You can reach us on 070-5236-8821 or visit our website at www.ljenigeria.org to report a violation. Remember, if you see something, say something.
You're welcome back, and of course, don't forget, we're still here. Trends on LJE News. My name still remains Omoti Omotola Adeleke. Quickly, let's go through some other trends making waves across Nigeria and, of course, the globe. The African Democratic Congress has condemned what it described as a gun attack and attempted assassination in Edo State, alleging that former Governor John Oyegun, party leader Peter Obi, and Olumide Akpata were targeted. In a statement by National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC accused the All Progressives Congress of fostering political violence, claiming the attack reflects a broader pattern of intimidation against opposition figures. The party described the incident as deliberate and undemocratic, warning it will petition diplomatic missions and the ECOWAS court while insisting it will not be intimidated. Also, Lawyer and National Working Committee member of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Kenneth Okonkwo, has described the recent attack on party leaders in Benin City as an assassination attempt and genocide against political opponent. He alleged government-linked actors were behind the incident and accused the ruling All Progressives Congress of trying to weaken opposition parties to impose a one-party state. Judith, quickly, I asked Esther this question yesterday when this issue, first came up. Do you think this was an assassination attempt against leaders of the ADC? And do you think government has a link to this particular crime? Because, of course, it's a crime. Do you think the government has a link to what happened in Benin?
It is clearly an assassination attack because from the video, there were gunshots, there were marks on the gates, on the cars, the car windshield, and everything was seriously damaged. So obviously, it's an assassination attack. Now the issue of it being linked to the government is tricky because there's really no proof. You cannot say. Okay, so
what about the statement by the governor of Edo State, Governor Okpebolo? When he said, "Hey, Peter Obi, if you're coming down to Edo State, make sure you inform me. If you don't inform me, anything you see, you take it like that."
Yes.
So do you think that's kind of like a proof to what happened?
You can't say it's proof, but then you can count it as a threat. Okay. Because he actually threatened him. He said, "If you come to my state, anything you see, you take it like that."
And don't you think such a threat should be admissible?
And now something has happened.
Okay.
So I think now that something really has happened to him, and there is the threat still standing, because obviously, and now also the governor of Edo State is also a member of the APC. See, so now, although it makes sense, it can be linked. It makes sense to link it to the government. But like I already said, there is no proof. So, and you cannot just accuse people like that without proof.
All right. Let's move on to the next story quickly. Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the National Forum of Former Legislators, Raphael Igbokwe, has alleged that the Independent National Electoral Commission is under pressure to deregister the African Democratic Congress, Labour Party, and other parties. He spoke after the Federal High Court in Abuja fixed March 24 to rule on a joinder application in a suit seeking the deregistration of several parties over alleged constitutional non-compliance. Igbokwe said the action aims to clarify constitutional provisions governing party regulation and strengthen Nigerians' electoral jurisprudence. Esther, we've had defections from governors. We've had defections from House of Reps members, lawmakers generally, and some other political stakeholders in the country to the All Progressives Congress. We've also had the issue of Peter Obi, the alleged assassination report that just came out. And now this. Do you think there's an attempt to make Nigeria a one-party state?
I was expecting that question, and it's clear because they are trying so many efforts. They are trying to make sure that there is no PDP, there is no ADC, there is no Labour Party. They're trying to make sure there is no major all the governors defecting to APC for that political shield over them. Now they're making it seem like if you're not in the APC, you're not moving, you're not in the moving train. So definitely they are tilting Nigeria to a one-party system.
But should it even you have lots of governors by your side. You have lots of individuals. In fact, we heard of the city boy movement before Peter Obi came with the village boy movement and all that. You have lots of these people, coming to your political party.
Everybody wants to protect themselves. I would not say delete, but everybody wants to protect themselves. As much as they already have all of this, they have all these governors moving to their side. They still know that these people are still strong enough to be. To stand a chance. They still know that these people stand a little chance, but still a chance. Because from the last election, we saw that Mr. Peter Obi had a lot of support. He had plenty supporters on the internet and everywhere, social media, all of that. He had notable people backing him. So now he's in the ADC. They are trying to remove the ADC because if he does not have a party, then what else? How else would he campaign? And then the assassination attack. I feel like at this point they know he is a threat, and they are trying as much as possible to just remove him to make sure he's no longer as much as possible to just remove him to make sure he's no longer a threat.
All right, Esther, does this show that without these orchestrations, without most of what we've read in the news today, does this show that the election in 2027 might be credible?
It's not going to be credible. Yeah, it's not even 2027 years, and it almost feels like election is here because of all these loopholes and whatever.
Because if you're saying these people, if you're saying this thing is government linked, you know, then why go to this point? Why go to this extent if you think you can still do whatever you want to do during the elections? And that's why I'm asking, without all this, without the threat, without the assassination attempt, without all these things happening, do you think the elections can be credible? Because why go to that extent of wanting to take out an opposition?
At the end of the day, it's politics, right? They're not even certain what their strategy is. But they know that these people, like Atiku is an opposition. He's a strong political member. Peter Obi is there.
Rotimi Amechi, Nasir El-Rufai.
Strong people. So regardless of the fact that you have some form of confidence that you still rig your way into winning it, you still be having some form of I'm not so sure. Yeah, definitely. It's politics. You still feel like I'm not so sure what their strategy is. What if they are planning something that we don't know about? So that's what I believe it is, because definitely they still have an atom of fear in them that, I mean, okay, why did they hurriedly pass the Electoral Act into law? Hurriedly, no second thoughts, nothing was done. The moment he was at his desk, he's like, okay, let me just, they already know that Nigerians are not going to take it lightly with them coming 2027 election. They already see the rig, the fear, the agitation. Everybody, I've never seen Nigeria this angry about, voting. It's not even 2027. And look at everybody saying we want a credible election next. Everybody's tired. So they already see that Nigerians are coming out, major opposition, Showore is coming out for protest. People are coming out for protest. So they just believe that let's just maybe clear them and have a safe mind.
All right. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed optimism that the naira will strengthen to 1,000 naira per dollar in the coming weeks. Speaking at the Renewed Hope Ambassadors Summit in Abuja on Tuesday, the president said recent monetary reforms are beginning to deliver results. He disclosed that the Central Bank of Nigeria intervened on Monday by mopping up excess dollars to stabilize the currency. Tinubu noted that without the Apex Bank's action, the exchange rate target would already be within reach, stressing that the administration's policies are accelerating currency recovery sooner than expected. Judith, with all these reforms, dollar coming down, there was a time dollar was around 1,400 naira, and gradually, it's around 1,300 and something naira right now. It's been fluctuating and all that. Now, even if it gets to 1,000 naira, do you think the ordinary Nigerians would actually feel its impact?
Well, the thing with all these things is the dollar is
remember,
very shaky.
when dollar got to 1,000 naira, that was when sachet water became 50 naira for one.
So I feel like you've already answered your question. I mean, these things, there's always news of the dollar is going down, it's getting lower, and then when you go to the streets, these things are not reflecting. You go to buy something today, it's 1,000 naira. You go back tomorrow, it's 1,500. So these reforms, when do we start feeling it? When do we, the common Nigerians, begin to feel the impact of the reforms? Because these are just numbers. These are numbers. You would not go to the market and tell the market woman that, oh, the dollar is now 1,300, so give me the goods for cheaper than she bought it. So I feel like what we really want is to feel these reforms actually.
But talking about feeling it, Esther, why do you think Nigerians are not feeling it? Because, if the dollar reduces to 1,000 naira, something that has been imported for like about, let's say, 50,000 naira should reduce to like maybe 40,000 naira. So why do you think people are still not feeling it despite the proposed stabilization of the currency?
There is personal greed in most of the Nigerian citizens around. Sometimes.
So it's not just the government.
We also have a major part to play in these things. Okay, some of these goods are not even imported. Let's talk about things like our local farms can produce the rice, the tomatoes and whatnot. You know, why are the prices still going up? It's not like you imported tomato, you make it here. So if we can at least have a little bit of conscience and realize, some even the ones that are imported, they still leave it at the same price it was being sold at before the dollar went down. So the government plays a role, but we also have a major role.
So are you saying we are like our government and we deserve the kind of governments that we have?
The government is worse, but I know that everybody's trying to survive.
All right. That concludes LJE News Update for now. Stay tuned for more update. Make sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe at LJE News on all social media platforms. My name is Omotola Adeleke.